What's up, everyone? Jason Gilbo here at Jacob11, taking a look at some tournament bats for GPPs tonight on DraftKings and FanDuel. Overall, decent slate of pitching. Not a lot of crazy high run totals. We do have ourselves a Coors game. Looking at things here early at first, first glance, kind of a modest offensive night. I don't think there's going to be a ton of huge breakouts. We did definitely have some teams in good spots. We didn't see a lot of production last night. It was kind of really flip-flop in terms of what we expected on Thursday. So hopefully Friday get things back on par. Jumping into it here first, Yankees and Pirates, Tyler Glasnow versus CC Sabathia. In PNC Park, so not the best park, but weather looks decent there. Mid-60s, wind blowing out a little bit. As far as the Yankees bats go, I'm definitely okay with firing away with some of these bats. Brett Gardner, Jacoby Ellsbury, big stolen base upside here. Tyler Glasnow, not a guy who moves quick to the plate, does walk a lot of bats. You look at this Yankees team right now, they are hitting the ball well. Guys like Starlin Castro, Greg Bird, Aaron Judge, they're all offensively just carrying this team right now. Chase Headley as well. So all at decent prices. I'm not quite sure what's up with the DraftKings price tags, but everyone's under 4K against a rookie right-hander who has been up and down so far in his career. It kind of got things together a little bit against the Cubs, but then just had those bad innings. So as far as Glasnow goes, you can certainly fire away both sides of the plate. I'm definitely looking for the stolen base upside. Power might be a little bit tough, but definitely some guys who can hit the gaps and run for days. So 1 through 6 here, I definitely like the Yankees bats. I think they're good GPP. I'm hoping PNC lowers their ownership just a little bit too. As far as the Pirates go, CC Sabathia has been respectable, kind of guy that's been tough on right-handers since last year. Crazy to say, but 308 WOBA, 26% hard contact rate is not allowing a lot. On a 15-game slate, I'm not particularly thrilled with attacking with the Pirates, and I don't think I will. You can make the case for McCutchen, but that's basically about it for me. Braves and Phillies, Jeremy Hellickson versus Bartolo Colon. Colon's one of those guys, it kind of matches up here with the Phillies where you wouldn't mind taking some shots against him, and then he goes out and does what he usually does and tosses 5 or 6 innings where he just gives up a lot of contact, but nothing really to get you excited. So 328 WOBA to lefties, 37% hard contact rate, 1.73 home runs per 9. In that ballpark, you might be able to get away with some lefties there, like Odubel Herrera, Daniel Navas, Cesar Hernandez. So, all those guys are remotely cheap. Michael Saunders, if he's in the lineup, Michael Franco, I don't mind, who got off the shy last night. Some intriguing bats there against Cologne. Vegas isn't expecting a lot, but in that ballpark, it is smaller. Weather is decent this time of year, so I'm certainly okay with some Phillies bats. Probably more 1-off, 2-off territory than anything. On the Braves side, only real one interest for me, and that's Freddie Freeman. Dude's absolutely crushing the ball. You look at Hellickson, modest numbers against lefties. He's kind of like Colon in terms of his overall numbers, where he's not allowing a ton of hard contact. The only difference is the hard contact. He's not allowing a ton of production. But Freeman's probably the only guy that's actually dialed in right now in that ballpark, can certainly take advantage as well. Full slate, probably going to be looking elsewhere, though. I'm not excited about guys like Inciarte, Matt Kemp, Markakis right now. Boston, Baltimore, Drew Pomeranz versus Dylan Bundy. Starting with the Red Sox side of things here first, I do like these bats quite a bit. You look at Bundy, definitely a guy with some strikeout upside. Doesn't strike out a ton of lefties, though. So guys like Benintendi, Mitch Moreland, certainly in play for me. Hanley Ramirez, Dustin Pedroia, Benintendi, much better price tags over on FanDuel. Not loving the Hanley 5.2 price on DraftKings. You look at Bundy, against righties, modest as well. Not allowing a ton of hard contact, but is a little bit home run prone. Has struggled with Boston since coming into the league. In that ballpark, you can definitely fire away with 1 through 5 in terms of some shots. Mookie Betts is certainly a guy you can look to pay up for. Hope for that big upside game. I definitely don't mind him with the way he's playing. So definitely in play. As far as Orioles go, this is one of those ones where it's just completely boom or bust. Baltimore's been the definition of a GPP play so far to start this year, and even at times last year. But you look at Pomeranz, I mean, 1.40 homes per nine to righties since last year. Most of that came with the Red Sox. Hard contact rate went up as well. Looked good against Baltimore in that first start. Struggled a little bit with against the Rays, but did have 10 Ks once again. Adam Jones is the guy that I think is the most acceptable to use here. He's been on fire to start the year. Wellington Castillo, Trey Mancini, though, two back-end guys that I don't mind using. Trey Mancini's off to a good start. Looks like he'll be back into lineup against the lefty. Castillo, good track record against lefties. I don't mind using him. But at this rate, I mean, it's all really GPPs. Manny Machado as well. Mark Trumbo was clueless against lefties last year, which was odd due to his larger career sample size. But overall, I mean, I think you can fire away with some of these bats in terms of tournaments. But once again, I mean, the 0 for 4s with 2 strikeouts, I would not be surprised to see those pop up throughout the Baltimore lineup, but I also wouldn't be surprised to see a couple multi-home run games from some of these guys too. So it's just, the pendulum really swings with this Baltimore offense right now. Chicago, Cincinnati, Tim Edelman versus John Lester. I like the Cubs bats here. I think they're a little bit overpriced for me on DraftKings, but I still don't mind using them. I mean, Schwarber 4.9 leading out there. Look at Edelman. 1.97 home runs per nine to lefties, 3.37 WOBA, 33% hard contact rate. Righties, I mean, similar type home run production for some of those guys. So I'm definitely okay with using the front 4 or 5. I think they're all intriguing options, especially in that ballpark. Looks like wind's blowing out a little bit. As far as the Reds go, not a fan of picking on John Lester. I don't know if I'll be chasing the stolen bases from Billy Hamilton, Jose Peraza tonight, but they're definitely there if they get on. Hamilton's a guy who, I mean, could easily steal 3-4 bases tonight if he gets a couple bases or gets a walk or a hit against Lester. So, you can look at that, but outside of that, I think for the most part, I'm staying away. Eugenio Suarez, Adam Duvall, nothing more than just deep tournament shots if you're looking for some power. So, Houston, Tampa, Alex Cobb versus Mike Fiers. You look at Fiers, 1.12 home runs per nine to lefty since last year, 324 WOBA, 33% hard contact rate. Is a reverse splits pitcher, but those numbers against lefties still aren't good. Against righties, 1.74 home runs per nine, 358 WOBA, 36% hard contact rate. But the only real 2 righties you consider are Steven Souza, Evan Longoria, which I'm okay with. Other than that, you can take some cheap shots with guys like Corey Dickerson, Brad Miller, Kevin Kiermaier. I'm okay with that, just giving up their power. But, this is a GPP pile. We are looking for GPP upside. They definitely have it, and they will carry lower ownership. As far as Houston goes, I'm not really loving the bats, not really loving the prices here for some of these guys. I mean, you can get away with guys like Josh Reddick, Brian McCann, Carlos Beltran if you want to, but not the greatest park for power. I think the Rays guys are a little bit more acceptable because they play half their games there, and their power is absolutely ridiculous. So Houston, not really on my radar tonight. Washington, New York, Jacob deGrom versus Tanner Roark. Bryce Harper's not priced down based on the matchup. He's still up over 5K. He's been off to a hot stretch of late, but not really looking to use him tonight. Not really looking at this game in general. One of the lower run totals, cooler weather there in New York City Field. Tanner Roark's a guy who does limit some damage. Against lefties, he hasn't been all that bad, which is a very lefty-heavy lineup. So for me, I think this is a game where you just focus more on pitching if you want to make a GPP move. Kansas City, Texas, Nate Karns, Cole Hamels, Royal side. I don't want any piece of it here. I know Hamels has had an average at best outings against or in Texas, but overall, this Kansas City offense is absolutely awful. I'll fade here. As far as Texas goes, Nate Karns is a reverse split pitcher, was decent against lefties, still a ground ball guy, does miss some bats against lefties, is walk prone as well. Against righties, though, this is where you can really attack them, but I still think the lefties are viable options here. But Karns against righties since last year, 367 WOBA, 1.31 home runs per nine. I like a Carlos Gomez. I like Mike Napoli in a GPP, Jonathan Lucroy as well. But for me, I mean, you can still look at guys like Mazzara, Odor, Elvis Andrus, if he's hitting second again, you can certainly look his way too on the right side. So I like Texas offense. I'm not expecting another dud based on last night. Cardinals Brewers, Willie Peralta versus Adam Wainwright. Wainwright really struggled last year. 376 WOBA to lefties, 34% hard contact rate, 1.30 home runs per nine. I mean, hell, if the Eric Thames train is going to keep on rolling, why wouldn't it stop tonight? Against Wainwright, who's, those numbers on the road and against lefties in that ballpark is tough. Travis Shaw as well, Jonathan Villar well in play. So I don't mind finding away with some of the lefties there. On the other side, Willie Peralta's looked pretty decent to start the season, but still a guy that I'll be willing to attack, and I will be willing to attack till he retires. So I don't mind using guys like Diaz, Carpenter. I think there are better options at their prices on DraftKings, though. I think FanDuel, this is really where you're looking to get Cardinals because they're actually priced like how they've been playing of late. So more of FanDuel plays than anything. Indians, White Sox, Jose Quintana versus Corey Kluber. No thanks on the White Sox. On the Indian side, you can certainly look at Francisco Lindor, a generous DraftKings price tag, even against Quintana 3.9. I don't mind him. They're priced down based on the matchup, but I think they're great GPP options against Quintana, who's had a little bit of a rocky start to start the year. So I don't think it's bad options, especially in that ballpark. So overall, I don't mind actually looking that way. We've already seen 4 home runs given up by Quintana to start the year. 13 earned runs over 3 starts. I mean, it's not like Quintana's been a stud so far to start the season. And with that being said, I think the Indians really nice price tags over on DraftKings. FanDuel, a little bit overpriced just because they are priced up like they've been playing. So do note that. Tigers and Twins, Hector Santiago versus Justin Verlander. Miguel Cabrera is a one-off. You can use Ian Kinsler, Nick Castellanos. I don't mind from the right side. Victor Martinez, not a guy that I'll be looking to use on DraftKings. FanDuel, even with catcher eligibility, probably not. James McCann is an option here as a punt. Great against lefties, big power numbers. You look at Santiago. This is a guy who does allow a ton of home runs to the right side, 1.51 home runs per nine, 39% hard contact rate. So I'm okay with some Tigers one-offs, 2-offs there. As far as the Twins, not really looking to use anyone against Verlander tonight. You can certainly look elsewhere. San Francisco, Colorado, Johnny Cueto versus Tyler Chatwood. I think a more GPP move here is just to completely fade the game. Tyler Chatwood's a guy I think you can pick on with lefties like Brandon Belt, Brandon Crawford, Hunter Pence. You can get on the action if you want. Not really looking to attack Johnny Cueto. If you could, you can certainly look at Blackman. Curious to see if Carlos Gonzalez is in the lineup tonight. Nolan Arenado's gotten going, but overall, I mean, at the prices, I think we can do a lot better. Coors here, it is cold. Looks like it's going to be about 40 degrees and rainy. So, I mean, yes, the air, I mean, it's still obviously a good ballpark to hit in, but I would not be surprised to see another mediocre game out of Coors tonight. So, I think overall GPPs, you can definitely look elsewhere. Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Alex Wood versus Taijuan Walker. This is definitely a game you can get exposure to. You look at Walker, is a reverse splits pitcher. Still home run prone to lefties, 1.95 home runs per nine. With that being said, guys like Corey Seager in play, Andrew Toll's in play, Justin Turner in the lineup. Check that before things start at 7:05 or keep an eye on it after. He would be in play. Given the fact that Walker is reverse splits, 347, Justin Turner is as well. That would match up really nice for his DraftKings price tag at 3.7. But even tossing in, yes, Mike Grandal, Jack Peterson, I don't mind there. Yasiel Puig, if he slips up into the top half of the lineup with Turner possibly being out. Really in play, I mean, you look at the Dodgers. They have a higher total than both the Rockies and Giants right now. And in that ballpark, we've seen Chase Field play really, really small. So I'm definitely okay with firing away. On the Diamondback side, I mean, we've seen the run total kind of slip down a little bit here over the last few hours, but against Alex Wood, this guy has struggled a little bit more on the road no matter where he's been at in his career. AJ Pollock, Chris Owings, Paul Goldschmidt, Yasmani Tomas, I'm okay with certainly firing away with those bats. You just look at Wood. Yes, hasn't been all that bad. Still going to put a moderate hard contact rate. Strikeout rates, I mean, it's up and down. Not sure how much we see of him in this game, given the fact that he's just been pitching long relief. So maybe 5 innings tops. So you might crack into a bullpen guy there as well. Seattle, Oakland, one of the lower totals here on the slate. Looking at the Mariners side of things, I mean, Taylor Motter, Nelson Cruz, Denny Valencia are probably the only 3 guys that I'll consider. Mitch Haniger, if you want to toss in as well, once again, price very low. But so far, I mean, it seems like it's more against righties than it is against lefties. On the A side, I do have some interest. I mean, you look at Hugh Akuma, 340, Wubba to lefties, 1.30 homers per 9. If you need some punt plays, I mean, they're there. Steve Vogt, only 3.1, Matt Joyce, 2.4, Jeff Decker, 2K if you want to go that route, if you need to save, which you might, I'm not sure. Chris Davis, obviously huge power upside. Iwakuma has been home run prone. He has been struggling against both sides of the plate. This is not a pitcher that he once was. So ace bats are certainly playable here. I don't mind going that route. Toronto and Los Angeles. As far as the Toronto side of things go, I don't want any piece of anyone here. Tough ballpark to hit in. These bats are struggling, even against Alex Meyer, who's an inexperienced right-hander. I think he's actually playable tonight. On the Angels side of things, though, the run total is high. Ballpark is bad. It doesn't offer a ton of upside. Mike Trout's always an expensive one. Might get lost as far as ownership, but you really just need a monster game out of him at that price. With that being said, I mean, I think Calhoun, Trout, Pujols are the only 3 really in play, just against Matt Latos, who I do think you can fire away against on both sides of the plate. So for me, I don't mind attacking and using some Angels bats and GPPs, but it's more of if you're building multiple lineup type of thing. Miami, San Diego, Trevor Cahill versus Adam Conley. If you look at Cahill, somewhat respectable against both sides of the plate. I think if you are looking here, Christian Yelich is a good GPP bat tonight. Probably the only one that I'm actually looking at. Look at Cahill, I mean, has given up, let's see here, 36% hard contact rate to lefty since last year. Isn't a guy who's going to strike out a ton of bats as well, but more of a late slate move, more of a move if you are looking to be really different or build multiple lineups. Other than that, I'm pretty much off this game. Will Myers you can target. Said this yesterday on the podcast. Will Myers had a better ISO at home last year than he did on the road. He crushes lefties. We saw that last night against Corbin. So Myers is a guy I don't mind making some pivots with. If you're playing the late slate, you can certainly look at guys like Margot, Renfroe, but I wouldn't expect a lot of production. I think Adam Conley's in a good spot as well tonight. So that's going to wrap things up here. You can head over to DaveFantasyCafe.com, check out great tools and content.